Radio Retro Future.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Denkert Lexicon, and this is the 4th episode of the Steampunk Beginner's Guide. Today, we are going to talk about that particular group of social rejects we know today as steampunks. But in particular, the worldwide community they are part of. I'll use the term community in the loosest sense of the word, because most countries have their own national communities that are pretty obscure to their peers in other regions of the world. But online, steampunks are well connected through social media and a lot of elaborate blogs. Especially on Facebook, steampunk present their creations in the many groups dedicated to the genre. A matter of fact, discussing what is steampunk in the comment section seems to be one of their popular pastimes. It's part of being a steampunk to beat that dead horse over and over again, but not today. This time, we'll explore in depth what binds people together and what makes the community so persistent. Although the genre itself started in the 1980s, the community became visible around the 2000s and exploded somewhere around 2011. This is probably because of the growing popularity of geek culture at large in the wake of the internet and the superhero movies like the MCU. From makers to cosplayers, steampunk stems from a wide variety of backgrounds, but all of them are geeks with a fascination for history and pop culture. Within this group of anachronistic misfits, there are a wide variety of styles and themes, subjects and crafts. But no matter who you ask, they all have a different vision on what steampunk means and what it should look like. And without any consensus or definition, one can only wonder what holds this global community together. Let's start with the most obvious, their passion for retro-futuristic aesthetic. That's where it starts for most would-be steampunks, and they develop their new passion from there. I explained this in the 3rd episode, but to recap, steampunk is recognizable because it uses both history and pop culture tropes. Even lay people understand what they are looking at when they see such images, unlike most fantasy or anime, for example, that requires a little more reading to get into. Steampunk is a great way to geek out about your favorite franchises while still doing something original. This universality creates a space for fans of comics, movies and books alike. But they don't just get their favorite franchise, they also get an alternative approach to their favorite universes like that of Star Wars. Besides punking the design of popular icons, steampunks love creating the lore behind these steampunk variations and creating new universes and alternative timelines that both fans and non-fans can enjoy without being bogged down by established canon. Having created these stories, it's logical that these people seek an audience. The best place to start is the internet. Type in steampunk on the Googles and you'll be bombarded by the countless images, blogs, Facebook groups and even some forums. The internet has become the community's lifeblood, where art, creations and events circulate and for a large part is responsible for the growth of its popularity. If you have ever gone to a steampunk event, there's a good chance you've learned about it through media like Facebook. Offline, however, is where the real fun is to be found. Besides the costumes and the making, it has a host of activities. Steampunk conventions have their genre of music, dance, games, art, and of course, fashion. It also provides a platform for the more conventional historical recreations that blend in very well inside a steampunk setting. Truly, such events are suitable for all ages, although during the night, patrons might be able to enjoy the more adult forms of entertainment. A steampunk convention is a very inclusive setting. These events also intend to inspire outsiders like producers. Therefore, the unique style of the makers often get used in film projects, music videos or other elaborate undertakings. And that way steampunk has started to make its way into the mainstream. In the last decade, several subcommunities have developed their own identity. This can be seen in the themes that are inspired by their own history. For example, the American Civil War has become very popular in the US and has pretty much assimilated the Weird West genre. In a way, so few people know the difference between it and steampunk. Then there are the various offshoots of the steampunk genre itself, like diesel punk, diesel funk and steampunk, which are alternate histories from the perspective of the Black American experience and focuses more on the Elijah McCoys and the George Washington Carvers rather than the Western Nikola Teslas. But the subject of Afrofuturism needs its own video at one point. Besides themes, there are a number of traditions. Some are local, like flamingo cricket, hamster fights and other forms of wholesome animal abuse, but phenomena like tea dueling and teapot racing are adopted worldwide. Other customs include the importance of good manners and absinthe preparation, but no matter what activity, most of them try to emphasize the social aspect and immersion of the steampunk experience and create a sense of togetherness during events. To accentuate, immersion is very important, and it's not enough to just walk around in fancy dress. That's why steampunks create campsites during festivals or organize thematic meetings in historical or otherwise fitting locations that include recreations of old traditions like that of the high tea. Unlike cosplay, steampunk isn't just an expression of fandom. Steampunk is an expression of self, not just a desire to, as futurist Brian David Johnson put it, a different relationship with technology, but also with our own history that is part of our identities. As Captain Rob of Ebony Park fame said, steampunks want to live in a past that doesn't exist. One that does not include the legacy of things like slavery and colonialism. Besides their desire for 19th century science fiction, like in the works of H.G. Wells and Jules Verne, to become a reality, steampunks have adopted many of the romantic notions and ideals of the 19th century Victorians. But the ideal of the gentleman has been modernized to fit 21st century sensibilities and not just to revive the good old colonial empire. Unlike the claims of some people. Speaking of prejudice, because of the emphasis on the ideals of the gentleman and posh traditions like tea drinking, steampunk is looked upon like a quite snobbish and conservative bunch. But all of it is in good fun. Most steampunks don't take themselves that seriously. They're racing teapots for Pete's sake. Some may even use the historical setting to parody modern social issues, but most prefer to keep their favorite pastime as far away as possible from real-world issues, as passions tend to unite, while politics tends to have the nasty habit to divide. Therefore, we should never forget its escapist qualities and keep making things your way. It might be one of the reasons why the community has remained so persistent over the years. If you enjoy this episode, don't forget to press that like button and of course subscribe to the channel for a weekly dose of retro futuristic content here on Radio Retro Future. And if you really enjoy what we do, you can support us on Patreon. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu, and as always, make it your way.
Hop step first, start with your left foot, then walk forward 4. Then with your left foot, back 4 steps, and do it all once more. Watch me. I'm going to show you the next 2 parts right here. One step the basic steps all down, the rest is easier still. Repeat them right side, left side once, use bounce and sway to fill. There is a marking time before you reach the first repeat. Move your hips north, east, southwest to the funky beat. Oh, and now, you're gonna show me your stuff. And how? So simple, hardly rough. You've got it down, I know you do. It's not just exercise. Give it your best, trust you forget. Just stand and improvise.